Hello, it's week 6, and we are reading another couple of chapters from the Blackbird Oracle. I don't know about where you are, but let me tell you, it is sun tea and linen season right now. This is my little combo brew here in my mason jar. Gotta love the mason jar and the sippy lip. I will be buried with my mason jar collection, and to me, nothing screams summer like things in mason jars. Whether it's stuff you bought from the farmer's market, whether it's flowers, we've got our flowers in mason jar, iced tea, you name it. I love a mason jar, and right now I am in love with my linen. This week, we are going to be delving into some of the handy, crafty, traditional activities that the proctors get up to in the summertime. Their kind of calendar of the year is very traditional. They observe traditional festivals, they make traditional crafts. When we were back in midsummer, we saw what some of the children were making. Those are all very traditional old crafts that people made around the midsummer festival. We're in July now, and it's pretty peak garden season. You might be getting some things out of, if you have a vegetable garden, you might be getting some things out of it. If you're going to farmers markets, you might be seeing peaches and other kinds of yummy things for the first time. Gardens have been an important part of my life ever since I was a small child. My grandmother was an incredible gardener. She lived in a very tiny apartment in Northeast Philly. Not where you'd think you could plant a giant garden, but my grandmother had one allotted bed, and that bed was filled with gladiolus. Her name was Gladys, so she was big into the gladiolus. With roses, with other plants. I actually have some of her gardening books. This is actually a gardening book that was my grandmother's before. I've got some of Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz's books here. This is my little gardening shelf. This is an antique herbal. Maybe we're gonna show you some pictures from that that I bought once upon a time. And of course, magic medicine of plants. So I am also an avid gardener. It goes in the blood. My family have been agricultural since forever. And I have a small yard in Southern California, and it's filled with heirloom roses and all the most colorful and sweet scented flowers that I can find to put into it. And it's really a labor of love to have a garden. A lot of people start them and they die. That's okay. My houseplants always die. It's Bridget who's got the incredible green thumb for houseplants, and my mother. I didn't get it. Plants, sometimes, it's a learning process before we can really branch out. But everywhere I am, whether it's in an apartment or whether it's in a place with, couple of acres, I plant things. So gardening is something that makes me feel really connected to my family, because obviously through my grandmother and all the ancestors who were farmers and gardeners before her, it's also something that really grounds me and makes me feel connected to something bigger than my own life. When I'm feeling down or I've had a hard day, all I have to do is walk out in the garden and pick a single branch of flowers or stalk of flowers, bring them inside. My mood lifts. It's magic. I keep saying that in all of these videos we've been doing for you. This is magic, that's magic, but they're all magic. And they're part of my daily life. I can't imagine a world without gardens in it. We are about to make a little bit of a move, and I am going to be a custodian of a bigger piece of property, and I'm looking forward to planting heirloom apple trees and a native wildflower meadow, and all of the things, maybe having beehives, all of the things that I can't do in my small gardens. My grandmother probably would have found a way, but me not so much. So a garden is a beautiful thing to start if you've been inspired by reading about the gardens at Ravenswood. You can start small. You can start small with a couple of pots on your front steps then you can expand from that. You can invest as little or as much as you want. Look at other people in the neighborhood who've got great gardens and ask them if you can take cuttings or if they're going to divide their iris. I'm always looking for people to give iris to. And I'm always looking for people who have lily of the valley, which, as you know, is a favorite flower of mine. And I don't seem to have a knack for lily of the valley. So I'm constantly saying, do you have lily of the valley you want to divide? So start small, start in steps, expect that, like all things, some things will flourish and some things will wither and die. Don't be too hard on yourself. And while you're doing it, it's so wonderful to learn the traditional plant lore associated with the things that you're planting. Flowers have a meaning. There's a Victorian language of flowers. There's the color symbolism of flowers. Sunflowers are linked to the sun, obviously. Just so you know, they're not a traditional European plant. They're not something that came until European colonists came to the New World into sort of herbals, etc. If you go to any used bookstore, you're going to find old used gardening books. Buy some of them. They might even have notes from their previous owner. And when my grandmother would walk through the garden with me, she would tell me the name of every flower, its common name, and then its Latin name. And to this day, I can look at a plant, and if it was one that my grandmother grew or I saw with my grandmother, I can still hear my grandmother's voice saying the common name, the Latin name, and then the common name again. So it's a good thing to do with friends, with family, ask your elders, take your youngers into the garden, and just enjoy this little bit of summer and summer heat, which brings all of this beautiful flora into being. And don't forget to take that little pit stop tour of the Ravenswood Gardens in this week's chapters.